Hello everybody, I'm Lance. Thanks for hanging out with me today, checking out the channel. Today's episode is going to be Mount Grinnell in Glacier National Park that I painted. It's about 8,800 foot peak on Swift Current Lake in the eastern part of the park over there. So really cool. It's on wood and it was kind of challenging, but I think you'll find it fun. And if you want to paint on wood, maybe this video will help you. So thanks again. I've added some chapters. This is kind of a long one, so I've added some chapters that you can use if you want to push around to different areas that I painted. So thanks again and have a great day. Okay, let's get going. Hopefully everybody's having a good day today. I'm going to paint Mount Grinnell. This is Glacier Park. I'm going to do a vignette and it's 8,800 feet is what it is. So this is wood and hopefully it stays up here. I've got it on here tight, hopefully. Tighten that in a little bit. There. I think it will. So anyway, let's get started here. I'll kind of go through my colors. I just got some phthalo blue, some white. This is my mountain color, my highlight side, shadow side, and this here will be distant mountains. A little paint thinner on here, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, not much paint, but we'll start up here, get our sky going. And wood can be challenging to paint on. Get some more in there. Tell you what though, it doesn't have too much reflections. And we're just going to bring that down. A little more, a little lighter. Grab a little white maybe. And I might need to make it a little thinner. There we go. Let's get that sky in there. Just kind of do that. Do that. Kind of go up to there. Get some more. Maybe we'll go right to there. How's that look? You can do that. Come back side to side. I think today I'm just going to try to leave the edges kind of lame. There. There. See that? I think that looks all right. Okay. Down below, get a little more white in there. Okay, a little more white. I'm going to grab a little more thinner. White. Let's come down here where the water's going to kind of be. Put that down, make sure this doesn't come off. And water line will be right around here. See that? Just kind of start bringing it down. I don't want to cover the mountain though, because I want to be able to. There we go. There. Side to side. See my mountain in there still, so I don't have too much. Get a little darker at the bottom, maybe. Bring it up. Get aggressive. There. There's some. Now up top here, we can go up here, darken that a little bit. Watch this. There we go. Bring that down. Okay, I like that. Bring that down to about there. Bring it up. And I might wipe a little bit of it off on the line there, where it is. There, you can grab a little more white right in here, if you want. Give it a little depth, a little white in this area. Bring that up. There, a little more over here, towards the horizon. Just grabbing some white on this 1-inch brush. A little bit there, maybe some clouds up in the sky. I gotta try to angle them though. Let's go here, and down here. I might go a little bit outside the lines, but that's okay. Let's see, over here. Blend that over. There. Grab a little more dark up here, watch this. A little more, let's stay low. There, bring that in. There. Okay, I like that. I think that'll work. And just trying to kind of get the sky in there and the get the sky in there and the water. Okay. And let me bring that up a little more there. It's kind of tough on the old brush. There, and then kind of blend it. Go back and forth, blend it. Get a clean brush, and come back over it and try to knock a little more paint out in some of these areas. Maybe pick up the mountain in the bottom there. Okay, good. Okay, so another thing you can do is paint these on and then let it dry and then put the mountains in. So after the fact, that sometimes can be easier. So, okay, I'm going to come in. I'm just going to use this little tiny angle brush, and I'm going to start out with some of the side here. See this? We're just going to grab some of the shadow side of Grinnell. And it's interesting mountain. It comes over, down, kind of comes this way. Maybe at the bottom it'll start, these rocks kind of pull in. See that? And I'm just grabbing this blue, brown, a little white in there, touch of brown. There we go. See that? And you can just, oops, try to stay on the, this brush is getting a little banged up, but pull that way. And you can make little areas there where it comes this way. You can leave holes in it if you want. We get up top here, we want to have it, I might get my hand dirty, but just like in here, you want to kind of make sure the top's pretty good. And then you can pull down from there. Okay, just kind of a nice little, that looks all right. Pretty good view today. Okay, and then as it gets to here, we're gonna have grass coming up here. There's some foliage and stuff, so we don't want too much. You know where that goes. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna keep that brush, and then I'm gonna grab another one I have, and I'm gonna use, let's go in and see about some of the highlight areas. Okay, so it kind of comes right here and breaks this way. That's pretty light. Let's get a little more white in there and pull this way. You can use a knife for this if you want. Start throwing some color in. Over here, I might want to come this way a little bit. There we go, right to there. Pull there. That line in there. Okay, bring that one to the left. I'm going to go a little left with this. This is already dry, down below. So see that? Just kind of rocky. I'm just looking at my cheat sheet here, right here. Just kind of bring it down. This stuff's dry, there's nothing on it, so I can mix the medium in there. I'm just going to be loose and try to bring that down all the way. Get a little more white in there. When you get down below here, you want it to be a little lighter though. See that? There, down to bottom, and it kind of just goes here. Just be loose. Okay, you can also grab a little paint thinner too on that one. Dip that in the paint thinner and just loosen it up a little bit. See if that makes it a little easier. Oh yeah, see? And it's not going to be exact, but it should look pretty good. This is going to come down. Let's go in here and get on the edge there. Yeah, this is Swift Current Lake. It's in Glacier Park, and it's on a pretty cool area of the park. A lot of fun stuff there to do if you can get a reservation. Okay, just pulling down. I might come in and grab something else, maybe another this brush here. This is just a angle brush, and let's see, it kind of comes down, and then right in here you have some. I'll make that lighter. Get some light over there. You got some stuff here. It's right there, and then you got a piece in here. This is kind of a highlight right in here. Okay, that's the rock. It comes in there. Yeah, that one kind of sneaks that way. Okay, and there'll be some grass up in there. Let's see here. I want that to come right to there. There, that looks pretty good, and then the rest is going to be trees. Okay, you can come back in here and grab some more of this dark right to the top there. Maybe grab that over. You can let it break into there. Pull it that way. Okay? How's that look? Good. And then the rest of it, oh yeah, we'll get some green in there, whatever. I might try a little bit of a palette knife today. We'll see. That just goes that way. Grab some lighter colors in there. And then just pull that way. Just grabbing white. Lighten it up. Okay, a little bit in here maybe. Just touching and pulling, getting some paint off. See that? There, that's not too bad. I like it. I like it. Okay, let's see. Next up, I want to add a little bit of yellow. Where is it at? Some ochre on my palette. So I think that'll give it a little more of a... Oops, that's more than I needed, but I'm gonna get some ochre on there and throw a little of that in. A little ochre with some white in there. Okay. Maybe a touch of that. There, this will give it a little color there. We might want to put some of that in there. Like in here. There we go. Just grab some of that. Just knock it in there. You know, and that'll be perfect. You can start pulling down some shadows. There we go. That's not too bad. I like that. Okay, wipe that off a little bit. I want to grab that other brush I was using with the blue. There, add a little of that in there. Grab a little of the shadow color. And what I did is I used the wrong shadow color. That's why this isn't the way I want it. There we go. See that? Sorry. I'm going to pull this way. There are little things there. Paintings, you know, you'll start them out. They'll be like, oh, are they going to look good? And then they turn out. They turn out usually. Or it doesn't work every day. There we go. That just comes that way. And some of it might come here and meet up there. Okay, wood's a little tougher, but not too bad. There we go. And that comes down into there. Those edges in there. That looks better. That was better. See the blue I was using, and we can lighten it up. Let me go in there and clean this off a little bit. Nice thing about using these little brushes, they're easy to clean. The blue, this blue here is supposed to be for these little distant ones here. And these are way off there, so we'll just kind of, and you'll see how that should look. There we go. These will wear out a brush too. There we go. Sure you get those lines in there. There. Distant one there, and you can add a little white to it. Okay, make them a little lighter if you want. Make them a little, especially when you know there's the lights coming from the left. So you could put that in and then add a little white in there. Right there. Yeah, there we go. You can even use a little sky color, but you gotta be careful. See, pull it that way. See, little things happening. Go over here and fill this one in. Goes up to there. Over to here. You can like break that in there. Just be loose. Peek there, peek there. Kind of goes like that and goes away. Okay. Yeah, that one's pretty big. That's going to come all the way down. So I'm going to grab something a little bigger. Let's see here. This one will work. Oops. Usually when you hit the camera, sometimes it might blur it. There we go. Make sure it's still... Yeah, you ruin the... Mess up the... Oops. See this? It's a bigger brush. This is a good brush too. I don't want to ruin it. I should use something different. Get a little paint thinner in there. That comes down. See that? Just a mountain there. Oh, see. Let's go right to there. There. It's not too bad. Okay. A little more in there. That color. Break it in. That's good enough. There. And then you can come back in and get a little white in there. And do some detail if you want. Just to give it a little more. Go white. And then over here you can kind of give them a little Just pull to the left. I don't need much. Okay, that one there already has some. There, maybe there's a little bit in here. Just kind of gives you a distant in down at the bottom there. We probably want it a little lighter because it's towards the horizon, right down here. See that? Just blend it. There. So those look like some distant mountains, I hope. And then we can kind of come back here and work on this one again. Get some of that. Mix it in with that blue. And let's see here. Some gray. There we go. Those come this way. Get that blue in there. These come down. There we go. Get a little more white in some of these. And lighten that up a little bit. Get some blue in there. I'm just grabbing colors here. Some of that blue right in here. You can come in and darken it. There we go. Pull these this way. That's good. How's that look? Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, and then I'm going to take maybe this one here again and come back in and lighten up that color. Get some more light in there. Pull that down. You can pull this way. Get some more white so it stands out. Come right up to here. And I want this to come this way. See that? Start putting white in. And let's see, this is kind of going to come down this way. Some light in there. It's so steep though, a lot of times it just comes down that way. Okay, how's that? It don't look too bad. I kind of get back and check it out. Hopefully I turn the camera on. Yeah, we're up and running. I might not finish this one today, but we'll see. Okay. These little spots here, I want to come and just grab and go. Get some of that. Grab there and just pull that way. See that? As you go along, I'm just grabbing pure white now. You just pull that. See that? Get that contrast between the two. And it kind of comes up here. Nice, and it's picking up the other paint so you can get away with it. Ooh, I like that. Pull it to the left. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. Lots of white, and then down in here, you know, you got just some things happening. Just bounce around. This almost comes this way. Pull down to there, and these ones have a little bit of light in them too. Little things in there. This is almost pure white coming in. And there's a little bit right in here, and maybe a little peak there. There, pull that in. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now one thing I want to do is get some darker blue on the side here, but not too much, so I'm going to mix up some phthalo blue and some brown. Okay, get a little white in there. There we go, a little more brown. See how that looks. This is going to be kind of dark, but I kind of want some more dark like in here on this edge. There we go. And that'll mix. Okay. And I'm just watching. This is such a ragged mountain. It kind of flattens a little bit right there. There we go. Oh, that one got a little bit away from me there, but that's okay. I'll fix it. See that? It just blends just some different colors in there. And we can come back in and add some white or whatever. Kind of almost comes over a little more here. I did that? Yeah. Okay, there. That gives you a little more that side, and then you can come back in and get some lighter blue, some of that color we had, and come in here, over here, some white. There we go. Some more white. You can put some highlights over in here. Yeah. I'm just bouncing around. Get some white in there. Get some white, and it kind of comes down, and then it comes this way. Okay, it goes this way, and then there's a little thing there. Kind of comes up. Just there. That looks all right, I think. Not too bad. It's pretty bright. I think it's just, it's bright in the room here. So now let's come in here and grab this one blue brush I had with the blue on it again. And I want to take and get some sap green, soil green, some gray green right here. That gray green's good for distant trees because you're going to be a ways out. And we're going to come in and put some green in here. Okay. Where it goes up to there. If it's too green, you can put some brown in it. You know, and these are just going to come down. I like that. Just put that in there. And this is going to kind of start covering some of that. That kind of goes up into there. See that? And then that comes over the top. There's a little bit right here that comes over. Okay, blend that up into there. Now we're just having fun with color, and then the rest of this is green down to here, so that'll have a little there we go. Yeah, just green it in there. It should maybe start looking a little more like, and this is going to come over with some green there, and then that kind of goes all the way from there. Get some darker green in there, right into there. There we go. Down and down here, and we can, I like that darker. That's just soil green. I'm going to put a little more of that in here, there, and we'll blend it. That looks good in the base here because it's going to be a little darker or greener down there. And I can go in with there. Oof, that's pretty dark. Let's grab some other stuff. We can mix it. There we go. Get some more of this. There we go. See that? You just grab some gray green, soil green. That looks good. Just pull that over. Let's see, that goes all the way over to there. Foot of the mountain. See? Is it starting to look like Mount Grinnell a little bit? Okay, grab a little more green. And these things here just need to be, just push them in there now. You can't, at some point you got to make them look like trees, and they're going to start covering this stuff here. So see how you put that in first, you put the land in, and then you bring that up and set it back. That one's kind of, yeah. And then up here, you know, this one here, you have a little darker there. And that just kind of comes down, and it comes up. There we go. You can tap that in too. So now it's, you know, tap them in, and then you get down to the bottom. This one's going to be a two-piecer because we still have to do reflections that I'm going to do on the water. And I can kind of see the mountain a little bit, so I think it'll be all right. And we'll do that later. Okay, good. And then down here, you know, this is all going to have some green in it. A little brown, but this is all going to have green too. Because, you know, that's going to be in the water. You've got some distant, we'll go all the way to there. Let's see, get that in there. That green down in the water. Yeah, we'll just connect them. We can change that later. Just grab green, sap green, that green here, and just there, bring it all the way up. Okay, because you know your water line's going to be right in there. And we're just going to, just kind of go back and forth like that. And you can pull it this way. That's how you get reflections, you know. You just pull them down. Something like that. And then we're going to have another. I'm going to come in with this one again and try to kind of get my mountain back. I'm going to do brown, darker brown here. And okay, we're going to come this way. I can see it there. See that? That's going to come. I think it comes down here. I lost my line, fortunately. So maybe I can trace it out with my pencil again, kind of help out, because it's going to be about the same. I can kind of see it here, and then it kind of comes here. It goes down here. Okay, and then it maybe comes this way, that way, and then comes there. Kind of straight up like that. That should be good. I mean, it goes a ways down, but I think I lost my line, so. Okay, grab some more dark brown, and we'll just kind of put that in. And then we'll, you know, this is going to be, actually, give me this one. The one I had the green in, or I could get another one here. This will work. These are just flat brushes, but I want to get some brown, darker brown, get some blue. I want to kind of pull that in there. That's pretty dark. Some of that brown, give me some of that color. There we go. And you can pull that out. Just kind of do this. Okay, and we can come in and fine tune it to the green. That doesn't look too bad. I like that. Okay, I have a line here. That's where it goes. And that one there kind of comes up. Might have to pull it up a little more. There, that's better. I think that looks kind of like it, huh? And you can blend these together. We're going to have to put colors in there and stuff. How we're going to do it. Okay, go back in with this one with the green. Get the green and stuff in there. And this needs to be, you know, green. You know, pull all that in there. Just let those mix with green. Just have green right in here. Just let them all come together. Okay. This is a good brush. I don't want to wreck it, but all right. So you see what you can do here is this one's dry. It takes a little more work, but you can start grabbing different colors of dark and pulling them down here into the water. Like here. This doesn't have to be straight in the water. See that? You can make it, that line can be whatever. And we can come back and work on this, right? It doesn't. Okay, and then we'll put some other stuff in there when we're ready. So that looks all right. Now, you can also come in with like this brush and just pull down a little bit if you want. Make little reflections. Okay. Because it's still wet, and that kind of gives you some reflections there. And then we do have, it's going to be darker because it's in the water, but we can come back in and give me some of the color we were using over here. It's going to be a little darker, but we know it's going to be some of this in there. See, right up to the point. And then here, it kind of goes like that. That ridge, you know, this is all there. Just kind of follow that down to there. How's that? Okay, that looks all right. And we're going to have it darker, but you can always just block that in. And you can have some of these in there. See that little piece? And then this one's going to go this way. A little darker, but you know it's in there. And we can add a little white, lighter color. There. Get it lighter. Come back in and And just kind of some of them you can make a little better. Okay, and that has to go this way, right? Get a little white color. I'm just grabbing color. But in here you can kind of come in and there you go. So you got it that way. And you're starting to see that. Keep in mind we're going to have the water line there, right? Okay, and we'll go back and get some of this, some blues and stuff, and come over to the other side. And you can pull some of that in there. See? Add a little white to it if we need to. It's going to mix in there. Good. And that's going to go right, like this. Right where that goes. Let's get some of that in there. I like that. I think it looks pretty good. You can put highlights in and stuff later too. Okay, maybe we'll come in and try that with one of these. Okay, add a little paint thinner to that and then grab some, this is just a dagger brush, but I'm going to grab some white. See that? Make it a little lighter. Now watch this. Come in and just make a little more. There, see? Just be loose. Turn it. Okay. These dagger brushes are nice. Right there. See? How's that look? Good. Okay, then you can wipe it off. Don't need to finish this today. Okay, might have to let it dry a little. Wipe it off, get a little more thinner on there. Not much. Kind of dry it. Grab some blue. Lighten it up a little bit. Some good blue. Okay, come over here and try to get some of that in there. See, same thing. There, that looks good. See? Put that in. Just streak it down. Just like that. I don't think that looks too bad. And up top, maybe. Okay, I like that. I think it looks pretty decent. We've got kind of a look here, and it's kind of looking good. It's a little brighter what you're seeing than what I'm seeing, so it'll look good. So I'm going to take this one again, and let's grab some greens again. Let's get some green here, a little darker green up there. What I'm going to do is grab our digital. I'm going to use a little fan brush here, and I'm just going to grab the greens I have, mix them. Brown in there to brown it a little bit. A little burnt sienna. Okay. Touch. Now I'm going to come up here and try to give these a little more of a, that's a little dark. That's all right. Grab a little of that. Just try to get some trees in there, but I like that. It's giving it some texture. And we're going to come up here and just touch them. Okay. If it's too dark, we can come back in, but these have got a little texture right in there. See that? It goes right up there. And it comes down. Remember, if you have too much green, it can pull stuff forward, so be careful. A little gray green, a little soil green. Just tapping it in there like this. Not a lot of paint thinner on this one though. And I want to have a little bit in here, just to make these stand out. See? You can touch, push down. Don't let the brush slide. That won't look as good. And maybe you have a little bit coming up in here. It kind of gives you definition of the land. We put these highlights on here. And I like that. Let's see. A little farther back there, it's going to be a little less. Okay, as we come forward, we're going to have a little bit there. Don't just take your time. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes I like going in threes when I'm working on trees. If you don't have enough paint, reload. Don't try to mush it in there too much, because you'll have a tendency to, it may not look as good. We got to kind of find out where our water line is, kind of down here. And we'll kind of push that in a little darker at the water line. Okay, and it's got to kind of go that way. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is kind of hard without a border. Okay, a little darker in the middle, the base here. There, and then you can put a little bit, down below. So our water line will be about there, a little lower. Okay, and then we can come in here and there. So there, well, you can see our water line. Now, without doing much, you can take another fan, put a little more right in here. Okay, a little more in here. And then we're going to pull down here. You can just pull down. Or grab some of that. Actually, what I'll do is come here and pull down. See that dark? So we know that's going to be where our water line is. Okay, and then you can grab this one and grab one. Just come there and pull that down. Grab it and pull it. Okay, just like that. Okay, good. So there, you got a water line there. And you got to kind of look here. You might want a little bit right in here. There's a little dark right in here. Right, just kind of come in here. See that? And just pull that in. It's starting to come together, Pepper. And then over here, you just kind of see where you have some darks. But that one's kind of easy because it kind of gives you the lay of the land. And it goes over here, like that. How's it go this way? But it kind of comes up. There, okay. And we'll pull that down. Give it a little, soften it. Like that. And it's, you can work on this more and more if you want. But now it's looking pretty good. I like that. I got some good reflections in there. When we come across, we're going to put a water line in and some more, probably get something like, this brush would probably work pretty good. So I'm going to grab a little, I don't know, some of this color right here. And watch this. Not too much, so I want to gray it down. Some gray in there. Yeah, maybe a little green color. Watch this. We can come in here, and I think our water line's going to be right in here. See that? Come across a little wider. It's going to grab some of that paint. Oh yeah, see that? And you want it to kind of come out a little bit. And everything in there. Almost like a white gray. Okay, just a little bit. Where our water line's going to be. That's shore too. So we're just kind of putting some shore in there. Okay, just tapping maybe. There, see that? Is that pretty straight? I struggle sometimes with these. Don't look too bad. That's too much blue. That blue out of there. There. Come in there. Just. And we can also maybe come in. See, I'm going to build it up a little bit, but that's kind of where the water line will be. Just a little shade in there. Might move around a little bit. It's pretty straight. There could be some beaches in there. A little brown. Let's get a little brown in there. Oh, that brown color right in here, maybe. See that? There's some land back there. Got some more of that. I like it. Just tap it in there. You don't have to. There we go. Tap. There we go. Like that. Tap it in kind of want this to be a little more level right there. There we go. There, so you got some land, you can see, and then the trees below it. And those trees below it, you can come back in and take this brush here and grab some of that dark green and tap right at the base there. You watch. Sometimes it's better to do that right there. Pull those up a little. A little dark in there. And those trees look good. Come back in and tap up here a little. You can pull up. Not too much, so I like that. What else? And you got this again. You can kind of throw a little add in there. I like that. That's pretty dark in there, though. And then just lightly, whoops, lightly pull down. There we go. Just lightly pull down. So there you get much. A little bit of that brown color. And you can come in here and throw some darker edges in here and there. Maybe up here. There's some little areas, right? Especially there where the crack is. Okay, grab a little more of that. A little bit there, maybe. See that? That kind of gives a little more. Pull that down farther. Just loose. Okay, and then down over here, I'm forgetting something here, and I take this one, clean it off, and get those distant mountains that were in there. Where are they? Right there. Get those in there. We can bring those over here a little bit. See those there? And they have to come down too. Kind of peek out. You know, it comes up and over. Yeah, that needs more blue. Right there. And then it comes that way. There. See that? A little mountain there, and he kind of just rolls into there. Yeah, get some more blue. That one's good too. There. There, see that? So that kind of covers that back there. A little more over here. Dun, 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 dun. And then you've got this one here that comes all the way to there. Just grabbing blue, scrubbing it in here. And it kind of comes down a little further there. Get a little more reflections in there. There we go. Lighter blue, get some white. That's what I want there. And then that has to come all the way right to there. There, that can come down too, right to there. So you got those mountains in there. And they don't have to be that perfect, but you got to have some reflections in there. And I think that'll do good. You can grab a little white, you know, but it's going to be hard to... There, they're blurry. Very blurry over there. Yeah, get a little white in there. Yeah, that one kind of comes up a little. Add a little bit there. We're done. There. And those aren't too bad. Those aren't too bad. Maybe bring that one down a little bit more. Level to there. See that? Okay. Good. I think that will be fine. The hammer, see this? Just kind of pull down a little bit. That one doesn't have enough power. Give me that fan brush again. Come over here. There. Just pull those down a little bit. And you can go across, you know, some of these. See this? And that'll kind of hypnotize it a little more. I think it's water reflections. Okay, I'm going to come across here and just try to make a little water line in there. hardly any paint. Okay, see that? Oh, it's easy to mess up. If you get too much, you just go back in and scrape it out. See that? That's what I want. And so it gives a little, you know, if it gets too much, but that'll give you a little kind of water-based line there where the water is. Okay? All right. So that looks all right. I think for now, I think we'll make and maybe take a little bit of a break on it, maybe finish it up here in a few days. Okay, I'm back, and we're going to finish this one up today. I just want to put a little more color in this, so let's get going here. I'm going to start off. I just got some pre-mixed colors on here. I want to get a little more blue in the over in here. I'm just going to come up here and maybe knock in some little darker blues and stuff. Some areas. Just add a little to it. This is just a dagger brush. Some areas. Pull down. I want to add some more color into it. See that? Down here. And that might give a little more depth, I'm hoping. Okay. A bit up here. There. Kind of gives you a little more darkness in there. I like that. Okay. And then we might be able to come in and grab, some more black, some more blue, dark color in there. Grab a little of that too. There we go. And just get some really, there's a nice edge on there, and I want to kind of come in here and maybe just poke a little edge there. See that? Just kind of keep it right on the edge. Maybe there's a little dark in there, right there. Okay, hopefully. You can use a brush for this, or a palette knife too, but it's still wet. Oh, I want this really dark in some spots, just right in there. And then you can come over here and add a little bit. Just random spots of darkness. Okay. You know, see that? You just touch. Remember, these are really kind of coming that way. Don't overdo though. Just kind of get a little bit in there and leave it. And I like that. I think it gives it a little more, looks better. Okay. And now on this side, I want some darker too. And over here, we want to get some more highlights on the mountain. So I've pre-mixed some color that I want to use. And there's a few spots in here. Add a little bit. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I don't think that brush, we'll try it. But I want to just add a little bit of color in some spots here. See that? Give it a little more. There's some nice brownish color, some red in there. Just want to come in and add some of that on this side for sunlight, because the sun's coming from that side. Right in here, maybe. You can pull that down. Seems to be more at the bottom, and then down here too. You can add a little bit of something in there. Just to break it up. Add some dark and just mixing, grabbing color. You know, maybe in here there's a little bit up on the ridge there. See that? Kind of breaks it up a little bit. Okay. Have a little more white. And sometimes you can put a little more white up on top there. There. Because you have some highlights coming in. Maybe a little bit. Right there. Just coming down. Don't kill it though. You just want to kind of keep color coming, and you kind of want to try to get this to set back in there. I think that looks all right. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is grab my liner brush, get a little paint thinner. I'll be right back. And we're going to add some darker too over here too. So we can come in and grab a little of that color. Okay. Maybe a little more of that. I'm just mixing color up. Oh, I like that color. And then we just want to maybe make some little areas in here with that. Okay, you can even take some of that blue mix some of that in there and create a little bit of areas on this. Not much, so maybe there's a little bit of dark there. And just, you can, like I said, you can work on this for a long time. Here, a little dark there coming down. See that? There we go. And over here, this little area has some coming down here. It's pretty dark, but we'll take it. You know, that looks good. A little darker. There we go. And then maybe a little bit right in here. See, I'm just pulling down, creating some shadows in the rocks. Okay, a little bit right there. Maybe some. Get down here, there might be a little bit around there. He comes down like that, and you raw sienna, and that's a good color. We're going to add some white to that. A little more white down here, and try to get some more highlights on there without, and I want them right to make it stand out. If I can reach over here, watch this. There. Just pushing right on there. Push there. Kind of brings out life. More white. I want it to stand out. There we go. See that? There, I like that better. And then areas over here, oh yeah, we want to get some, you know, highlights there, maybe up here, right up to the top. There we go. And then just kind of work those in. Just tapping down, maybe up here a little bit. Over here, right there. Anywhere you gotta some darks, get some light by it. See? Maybe that goes there. And just pushing in. A little bit right in here. See, I'm just tapping these angle brushes. These daggers are nice. See that? And you can do all that without a. This would be hard with a palette knife because the wood doesn't. You can get it in there, but the woods can be challenging too. Okay, let's do that. I think that looks good. Now the only other thing. And there's shadows up in there and stuff. Maybe a little bit right in here. Just a little bit right there. Maybe coming through. Make those look a little better. Just done with it. Maybe just a little bit on here. A little darker, but maybe there's still some shadows in here that we want. Maybe up here. Just kind of throw them in. These areas, they got little holes and things down there, you know. Again, we don't want too much, but maybe there's some dark in here. You can come in and just drag it there, because you got to have a little bit of both, and I like that. I think that looks good. This here, I want to kind of pull that down a little bit this way. See that? You just kind of mess around with them. And I'm only using a dagger brush and a liner brush for this, so it's good to come in and you can fix stuff. Now, I'm going to get my little fan brush out, and I want it to make a little darker greens. I'm not going to mess with the water. I'm just going to leave it today. But I've got some darker green here in a few areas. Again, just pushing on the liner brush. I probably should have got more, but I don't want to push too much in here. But I got some darker green down here. There's a little bit right in here. I'll give it a little more. And this is just soil green, a little. Might be some sap green in here. That stand out more. So there I got a little more soil green. Push that in. Okay, and I've got some olive green in there. Some other, I didn't use any sap, but in certain areas you want to have a little dark. Just right in here. There we go. Just to change it up a little bit. Maybe a little bit down here. There's shadows. Brings it out a little more. should put some paint thinner on it, but I think we'll be all right. And then maybe a little bit right under here. See that? Just have some fun. Okay, now as you get closer, they can get a little darker, right? And here on the shoreline, one little more. And let's see here. Maybe a little bit right here. Right there. Try not to let your paint slide when you're pushing on there. There, that looks a little bit more how I kind of wanted it. And over here, this is distant, but there might be a little bit back in here. I thought it might be a little too dark. Back on this ridge, we can make it a little lighter. Come back in and just get a little lighter. There you go. And just tap over that. There we go. Got a little more right there. Just a little bit. That might be back in a shadow too. And I'm just looking here. A little more right here. There. And it's nice and dark. And you could put a tiny bit in the water, but I don't think I'm gonna. I like the water where it's at. The shadows look good. Well, maybe we could come in here and do a little bit right there. Just a little bit there, and maybe a little bit right. And over here, I'm looking at my cheat sheet. There we go. Just find that over. Just a little more there. Okay, that kind of goes that way. Brush. This is just a, I don't know what it is. It's a bright brush. Pull down. Just pull them down. Softly, don't kill it all. See that? Straight down if you can. Sometimes I struggle. Pull there. There. So that looks all right, huh? And you can come across, wipe off the, and just maybe just grab and go a little bit off. Not much. So when you pull down, it gives you a pretty good reflection, okay? And you could always come in and maybe do this too. It's hard in the water, but maybe a little bit here, and a little bit in here. Just put a little bit more in here. You know, maybe that pink there. You can almost go either way. There, get a little more. Just pull that down a little bit. There. See that? Just kind of pull them down. And it gives you a little automatic water reflections in there. Kind of knows. Okay. A little greenish. See that? Right there, there's bushes and stuff. Right on the shoreline. It's a little lighter green. And it kind of comes over. You can build it up into there. I like that. Kind of comes over here a little bit. Right out of there. And you can add it anywhere. I think that looks all right there. Okay. And also, I want to come in and maybe we can do a shoreline with this. A little brighter shoreline. See if this brush will work. If it'll stay down. I don't think it'll stay close enough together, unfortunately. So maybe I'll try the old knife trick here. And try to do a little shoreline here. Be tough. Let's see, let's go on the upper end of it. Just come in here. There we go. See that? It's tough. Go more on there. But that don't matter. Just a little color there. I'm just kind of lining it up with the back of the bottom of the. There. That looks all right. Remember, we don't have to be perfect. We're not. I'm just pulling the lines, try to go back and forth, and we're just trying to create a little bit of discolor there, and I think that looks all right. I think it'll work. Okay. Thanks again for hanging out with me today, and let me know if there's anything else you want me to try. I like watching painting videos, so but if you want to have a suggestion for a mountain, send it over and I'll paint it. I'm just kind of knocking out glacier ones right now. I think they're fun and easy. I'm going to get a little more white for a few spots here. Highlight it up a little bit in a few areas. make it just a little wider. And I'm just putting it on the bottom of this knife. Get a little more white in there. And just kind of, ooh, that looks good. There we go. There. That's not bad. We'll leave it. It's very thick, so it's going to take a while to dry. But that's all right. And then over here a little bit. You can see it pulling off. See that? Maybe I'll zoom in on that if I can. There. Gives you a little highlight right there in the water. And that's good. Okay, next up, wipe this thing off. Try to finish this up here. What do you think? And it's just a piece of, I don't know, pine. It's very soft wood. We were going to use it for the fire, but we decided, I told my friend, I said, no, let's try to save it and use it for something else. So, okay, we're going to need a lot of paint thinner on this one. So I'm going to go in here, get some paint thinner in there. There we go. And I'm just throwing paint thinner on my liner brush and then just kind of getting as much as you can in there. Try to work it towards the end of the brush, though. And we're just going to kind of throw in some of these little bushes and stuff in here. You might be able to, it's a little tough, barely touching. Okay, some stuff there. You can go up. You can stay down, pull down, whatever. There's one there. It goes up a little more. These are just little more thinner. I'm just trying to, there's a little one there. Just randomly be loose. Be loose, and then I can go up maybe. There. I like that. You go up and down, all around. There. Just barely getting on there. Sometimes you can, there's that there. And there might be one over here. Maybe there's a few on this side. Kind of pulls everything out. There. Just pull up. You might want a thicker one. Go through there. There. See? I don't know. And then we'll do a cleaner one. I got to clean that off and get some of this light brown, this color here. I think that'll work. Pink. There's some pink flowers in here, so I'm going to get some of that. Darken it up a little bit. And then we'll put some here. Next to it, there's one that comes up and goes. Yeah, that's looking good. Here. Paint thinner. There. Lots of thinner. Just try to get the paint on there. And that one just goes up. And then you can have some little branches coming off of it. Come down if you want. See? Got a little white in there. A little whiter in some spots. I don't know what it is. Some kind of a fireweed or something maybe. Okay, I'm just trying to... There we go. And there's one over here maybe. We can put another one over here. Just kind of pull them down. A little darker. There we go. Get some more thinner in there. There it is. And then just kind of pull. Make that a little longer. There. And these are just the start of them. Okay. And you might have some other stuff in there. And we can go back in with our, where's it at, that one? Yeah, and these ones you can come back in, get a little color on here. I'm just going to use this brush, and we can put little things on them. There. Just little leaves or petals. Just make them kind of cover them up a little bit. There. What do you think of that? Get a little paint thinner on there. I'm just grabbing green and just kind of touching with the corner. Pushing it up down here. Maybe they kind of come this way. Push down towards the bottom. A lot of these I'll cover up. Just a lot of paint, a little darker in the bottom. Open the bristles. A little bit there. Just okay, there's a bush there. We'll go over here and do this one too. There's some on here. See that? Just pull that down. I didn't do a very good job with it, but you can just be loose. There we go. There. A few bushes in the front. Okay, I like that. And then some of these. Come back in and get the liner brush and maybe just start putting little things on here. Just tapping little leaves and stuff. I'm not a flower painter, so sorry. Up on the top here, these are just little leaves. On this. Yeah, a little bit here. And they come down. There's some down here. Maybe just throw them in, and then we can put some more little flowers in there. I don't know. This one too has some. Pushing them in. You can darken them up too. Make some darker ones. Get that darker paint in there. See that? Just a little. I'll try to get that down a little more. Get some more purple and pink in there. Okay. How does that look? Not too bad. Not too bad. A little darker in there in some areas. Some brown. Gray, I don't know. Make them a little darker. There. Dark, dark. Darken those up a little, give them a little more. There we go. Maybe there's some little things in there on the bottom. There, go down there. And those are just sticking up out of the water. Okay. You come back with this one, grab some light, add some light on there and lighten some of these up a little. There, get some white. Yeah. These ones look a little better, I think, than the other ones. Open that up a little. What brush was I using? This one. There, this has got better bristles. There. Get a little color in there, a little white. Stand out there. Over here. Same thing, white. I'm just pushing it onto the bristles, and then you stand out a little better, don't they? There. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, I like that. And then I'm going to take and maybe trying to see here. I'm going to try this one. I'm going to try to make some better leaves on this other one. Take that liner brush and just tap. Okay, and let's come in and see that. I'm just going to come up here and see if I can make these look a little better. There. I don't know. How's that? They look a little better right there. There, a couple of. Again, I'm just tapping. I'll come in here. Just, if they're too light, just come in and add some color in them. See? Just come down and mix that in there. This is just a liner brush that doesn't like to stay together. So I use that. Come down here, maybe. Just kind of throw those in. And give you some shadows in the little leaves or something. I don't know. Okay. And it's kind of, they're just there. Very good. And then you can maybe take some green on here and pull down a little. Watch this. Pull them up. Give them a little more action. You want to bring a little more up? There we go. Yeah. See that? You can work on these forever. Make some little things sticking out. There we go. There. See that? Just grabbing on the top like I do with the water lines and pulling some little dark stems out from the bottom. Okay. There maybe. Let's see what that does. Okay, a little bit of grass in the bottom of here. There, just do that in here. See that? You can almost just use the butt. Okay. See where the leaves are? Tiny bit. More. And sometimes you should do this before. There's one right there. And you just smack them in. You can use some of it in here. Darken that up. These ones you can be a little less spicuous. See that? I like that. Darker. There we go. A little more. A little more right down here. There we go. What do you think? Okay, now let's grab some more dark. I like that. I put some more green right in here. It'd be nice to have a little brown, but I don't. Maybe a little of that. And then come back in here. Throw a little dark in there. Kind of make it round and leave that there. And then we can come back in and grab a little bit of that lighter green we had and put a little bit of that right here. See that? Not much. Can that up again. I'm just going to grab some more darker purple. Come in here, maybe. Darker at the bottom of this. I put kind of bury that a little bit more. You can't see those stems as much. Okay. There, just loose, loose, loose. Like that. But there, not much. I don't even know what those are, but they're sitting on the water. I want to make some little highlights on these. See that? Where's the light coming from the left side? Just a little bit there. There. A little bit right up in here. Might catch a little more highlights. There we go. How's that? Yeah, let's try some blue and white right down here. Okay, come down here and sign it right here. Yeah, quickly. P, a little more. You just want to have paint thinner, and the point needs to be good. P, and a little more. And over there. Come down here, R. P, sometimes they're hard to do. Put that R in there, because we know we have a lot of paint. It's wet. There's some good color in there. It's almost like a, get some more on there. R. And then come down here. Maybe grab a little of that white that was left over. Maybe, yeah. There we go. Get a little more thinner. P. There we go. That little R in there. I just put my initials in because my name's long. There. Good enough. So, there it is. Hopefully you like it. And again, if you want to see more stuff, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And let me know if you want to see me paint something else. Have a great day.